playing some fabulous rugby this season, and led tonight by Danny Kerr, his 13th time as skipper. David Pace, a first time as captain of London Irish. For whatever reasons, shame as it is right now, European rugby perhaps not at the top of the exiles list. In saying that, perhaps this group will relish the ability to play with just a little bit of freedom tonight, away from the suffocating pressures of the Premiership. Marius Maitreya of Romania is our referee for this evening, and Shane Geraghty gets us underway. Montpellier and the Dragons already into the last four of the Challenge Cup. Quins and Irish trying to join them. Grenoble and Connaught, by the way, doing battle in France simultaneously.
No rock forward, play on.
Adventure from Quins from the off. As ever, keen to keep this tempo high. Run the Irish off their feet if possible. Danny Kerr, nevertheless, doing the pragmatic thing from deep within the 22. Good chase here from Marlon Young. What a good chase that was, alongside George Lowe.
Okay, play advantage, Irish.
Here's Fenby. Advantages with the exiles, and back we come for a high challenge.
London Irish lucky to get away with that. Shane Geraghty at the back, Noel wanted to take claim for the fantastic box kick from Danny Kerr, which he put into no man's land. They didn't field it. Marlon Yard, big chase. Unfortunately for him, tackled just a little bit high, just around Shane Geraghty's, just above his shoulder, giving Irish a bit of a let-off.
Yeah, it's not often, Oogs, you see a box kick out of someone's 22 bounce. I think there's some communication that needs to happen pretty quickly in this London Irish, if not the back three, the back division. I think that was the right call. I think Geraghty did duck into that, but it was high nevertheless.
Here's the middle, say 2 metres.
So line out time. David Pace finding his man, and that man is Will Lloyd, the Kiwi who joined from the Blues in December. This is a promising looking drive approaching the 22.
One stop line. Use it.
Quins looking to disrupt, and McKibben searching for it, and Quins have done enough to disrupt.
Really, really good work from Harlequins. We see every week in these elite rugby matches, once a maul gets moving, even if it's moving 6 or 7 inches forward, it's so hard to stop. Legally, it's so hard to stop without giving away penalties. Harlequins were disciplined. You did have a couple of guys look like they were on the wrong side, Chris Robshaw included, but they didn't run around the outside. They came through the middle. They're allowed to be there. The ref had a good look. That's really, really good maul defence from Harlequins, something you put a lot of effort into.
So the other part of the set piece battle, the Irish have had a lot of success in this competition at scrum time, less so for Quins.
Well, if they manage to get the ball out of this scrum, I quite like the position of Marlon Yard behind the scrum. Ben Botica there, I can imagine using Marlon Yard as first receiver. Jamie Roberts running over the top of Shane Geraghty, or just getting a penalty.
Tell you what, Oops, Marlon Yard was hanging around directly behind that scrum, looking threatening. I wonder if that was to distract the London Irish back rows, because as soon as that scrum went down, I could tell by Adam Jones' body position, he does make subtle changes, believe it or not, and I could tell they're absolutely going for the penalty there, or at least going for the double shove. Very, very aggressive start from Quins at the set piece, in set piece defence, and in loose face play.
And a 50-metre net gain off the back of it. There's Adam Jones. Huge experience, of course. 100 international caps, including his time with the Lions, 4 league titles with the Ospreys, and putting in the yards on the pitch as well as off it, helping out with the coaching, the young tight heads in particular. As Roberts is launched for the first time. Botica looking for the open spaces, and Visser just not quite there in time, looking to run on. And it's gone forwards.
There was a hole there, or at least there was a dog leg on that first and second man of the London Irish ruck defence. It was on, the ball wasn't quite good enough. Let's have a look. Botica drops it inside. Visser's calling. He's just half a second late, isn't he, Visser? Just needed that ball to hang for a bit.
You can see the frustration, because they clearly called that. They've been working on that. They've seen something within London Irish's defence there. Tim Visser is always hungry for work and attack. Just trying to sniff out a little edge there. The ball was probably not quite as sympathetic as what Tim Visser wanted, but the hole's certainly there.
And it's the first time we've seen Robert crash into Brophy Clues, and he dealt with it.
One, boys, one.
Yeah, that's going to be a big test for the youngster this evening.
That's great to watch. Brophy Clues is young, he's a great prospect. Nobody expects anything of him tonight except for him to give everything, and he gets to play against a proper legend of the game. So you could say he can't lose. A great experience for him. He's had one tackle to make against the big man, and he's made it.
Pick it up, please. Take your shoulder out. Take your shoulder out.
Around about a year ago, preparing for A-levels at Abingdon School. Tonight, up against a two-time Lion in a European Challenge Cup quarter-final. I think that's called a learning curve.
Stay behind the ball, 9.
Solid from the Irish at scrum time, less solid from McKibben, and this is Brophy Clues, and that's perhaps not the best of his touches.
No, Kirsten. With Kirsten, that was initially good work. Ali, you were right at the set piece, but it just got a bit sloppy from London Irish in terms of delivery.
Yeah, I mean, he's been put under all kind of pressure there. Probably not the ball he wants to be dealing with. A wonderful talent. Just one small error.
To the tail go Quins, and Botica shaking off the tensions of the defenders, and the advantage here with Quins thanks to the Irish being offside. Lambert clatters up towards the 22-yard. Making a little bit of space here for Lowe. Low slant and dangerous, and Yard is within 3 metres. Kerr whips it away. Botica, Joe Gray with the step. Preferred tonight to Dave Ward at hooker. To the short side they go. Kerr looking to find Merrick. Still they keep it in the close confines for the time being. Kerr again. Botica. Yard round the outsides. Little pop, and Wallace is home. Great start from Quins. Quite simple in the end, but the battering ram came at Irish, came again, and then the whip.
Thought Marlon Yard had two key contributions then. First on the left touchline, he looked like he was winding up for the wide miss pass out wide. He didn't, he dropped it short to George Lowe, made a huge amount of ground. There he is winding up, just drops it short to Lowe. There's a hole there, but that dummy sent Fenby wide when he didn't need to go. There's Marlon Yard again, so it's 3 contributions. He bounces up, and there's a lovely bit of skill to offload for this try. You feel like he should give it now, but he backs himself. Easy finish for Luke Wallace, but 3, not 2, telling contributions from Marlon Yard in the build-up to that try.
Great support work from Luke Wallace, who's had a fine season, and Flatsy nominated him as Premiership Forward of the Month for March. He's had a good spell in recent times, played a lot of rugby as well, hasn't he? Got through an awful lot of work. That flies wide from Botica, but he's really pressing his case, Wallace.
He's one of many young English back rowers pressing their case. Very, very classy operator. Very, very athletic, almost gymnastic in his flexibility. Got a great engine. That's a lovely touch from Marlon Yard. An easy finish for Wallace, but he'll take that. He's really, really impressed this season since switching full-time to open side. Interesting to see Jack Clifford tonight at 8 as well. Eddie Jones has said he thinks that's where his long-term future is. Be interesting to see him go.
Yeah, they got options, haven't they, in the back row. Nick Easter taking the weekend off. A little burst here from Sam Toomey, only his second start of the season. Certainly the last few months he played a prominent role early on.
Use it! Wait.
And Kerr opting for the safety of the touchline. So a tricky dynamic really for London Irish this evening. everything focused on next week and their big clash with Newcastle, but have to somehow keep the focus, keep their drive, their passion, their energy. But if you're just even a little bit off mentally, Hugo, we've seen it down the years, haven't we? Oppositions tend to really exploit that vulnerability.
It's a European quarter-final. You know, I'm retired now. I'd love to be playing in games like today. Could be a breath of fresh air after being in the Premiership the last 10 weeks. Opportunities to go out and express themselves, but they've just got to be a little bit more accurate than how they've started tonight.
Low, wriggling onwards. Brown and Wallace. Mulcrone fighting a lonely war at the breakdown. Merrick looking to get the ball away, and he hasn't managed to do that cleanly.
You can see exactly what George Merrick's trying to do. He's trying to take that impact and almost Sonny Billett with those long arms he's got out the side to soak up a couple of defenders and pop it off. But you've almost got to take that contact first, so that when you get hit, the ball isn't being controlled by only your fingertips. Makes it very, very difficult to keep hold of it. Didn't quite work out. Now a chance for London Irish to attack. This is exactly the sort of position, pretty much centre field. 10 yards in the opposition half. These are exactly the sort of situations they practice for time and again during the week. So if the ball comes out the scrum, Hugo, we'll see what we've got. But let's not premeditate this.
It's the hardest place to defend from, that's for sure. Flats. They've got options both sides. Shane Geraghty, his range of passing is exceptional. Once again, the scrum goes down.
Yeah, it's a good scrum though. Good to watch, wasn't it?
Taken quickly and setting off is one of the former Quins men, Tom Guest, eager to prove a point against his former club. McKibben. Onwards through Trayford. Geraghty. Brophy Clues. Taken low. A little bit of width here for Fenby to work with. Lowe makes the tackle.
Release out, please.
Good continuity now from the Exiles. McKibben, Geraghty, Kerr coming hurtling through the defensive line. Big tackle put in by Botica, which the crowd enjoyed. Guest again. Hasn't had a lot of game time for London Irish. Advantage here for the Exiles. Chip to nothing from Geraghty, gathered by Brown and back for the penalty.
Offside.
What I've noticed over the last couple of Amlin Cup games,
Number 8 offside.
especially yesterday, Sale, the one thing which they didn't do, and the teams which were unsuccessful, was their reaction to the referee. Marius Mitria tonight, haven't seen him so far. If you're not used to that kind of standard of refereeing, or that kind of a guy who's used to refereeing Premiership rugby, you could find yourself with terrible discipline, and that allows opposition to get into it. This is a really good opportunity for London Irish to get something on the board. Harlequins were just a bit too competitive at the breakdown.
Straightforward enough for Shane Geraghty. Irish on the board.
They've earned those 3 points. It was Danny Kerr a couple of minutes ago that threw a bit of a ropey pass to no one in his own 22. Backed it up with a drop kick, with a box kick rather. Went to touch but didn't go particularly far. A lot of hustle from London Irish, a lot of pressure. They then followed that up with some really good phases. Forwards carrying hard. 2 Harlequins. Guest and Trayfoot carrying hard in the midfield. Good hustle.
Botica stabs it on its way. Good challenge for the ball, but it's there for London Irish. Nick Evans, they hope, Quins hope, will be back certainly within the month, potentially for the last regular game of the Premiership season. Geraghty goes high again. Yards watching carefully and not gathering cleanly, and the ball hacked through. And Danny Kerr is back there, but he's Well, a lot of attention around him. He's escaped 3 defenders now, a 4th, and he's almost up to the 22. Dazzling footwork.
Absolutely brilliant composure and skill set to be able to do that.
Visser working down that 5-metre channel. Somehow they're up to the 10-metre line from a very perilous position only a few moments ago.
Well, Flats was talking to me about Danny Kerr before the game, and I said he just sets the tempo of everything. His ingenuity, he's captain. Some people potentially call that a risk, him trying to run out from his dry line. But when you've got footwork like him, and also massive glutes like what he does, it means you're incredibly powerful. And it's just footwork here, his ability just to shrug defenders off, being 1, 2, 3. And he gets Harlequins on the front foot and sets up an attack. Brilliant play from Danny Kerr.
I tell you what, serious composure and serious power. You're right, Hugues. Very, very powerful bloke.
It's a safe
Bags full of confidence at the moment, isn't it? When we talk about Danny Kerr, you only have to look back to that staggeringly good try he scored in the Grand Slam game in Paris as a barometer for how he's feeling. Hard yards being made by the Irish back row. Geraghty trying to release Mulcrone. Trayfoot. Again, starved of game time really. Blair Cowan, normally the man preferred at open side. Geraghty. Mulcrone.
Release, Queens.
Younger brother Charlie is joining Harlequins from Worcester next season. Leo Halavatau lining up Merrick and heading straight for him.
No, it's a tackle. Release that form, Queens.
McKibben. Sinclair.
Ball's up.
Smallbone. A little bit of punch from McCusker, but good defensive work from Quins. Chris Robshaw, the man singled out for praise.
Robshaw's done well, but Adam Jones has also made a couple of good hits there in the midfield. I wondered if Leo Halavatau had been held up by George Merrick. George Merrick went pretty high. It's pretty hard to go low, actually, when you're 6'7", 6'8", of course. But that is a strong tackle from Adam Jones coming in as kind of the wide defender there. He might have felt exposed, but have been very happy when see Jamie Roberts calling numbers out. He doesn't want to be next to a tight head prop out there, but he just makes enough of an impact and he's big enough to take up enough room that Chris Robshaw can sneak into the hole behind him and nick that ball.
So the big boys having a well-earned breather.
They're not having a breather, Ali. They're preparing.
Time to have another look at that try, I think, Hugo.
Yeah, really nice try, actually. Flash was just talking about the involvements of Marlon Yard, and he was absolutely brilliant, I felt, just in terms of his involvement and his timing, as well as... So you see him just hovering, loitering within 10 round Ben Botica. The line which Mike Brown runs and the line which Marlon Yard runs in tandem really just sit down Shane Geraghty. Shane Geraghty bites on the wrong man. Marlon Yard's too quick, gets outside him, show of the ball there. And just an easy offload to Luke Wallace, and it's just doing those simple things really, really well. Everyone doing their job. Mike Brown did his really well. Marlon Yard exploited the space left by Shane Geraghty. Lovely offload, really. I mean, this guy's been on fire, I think, for Harlequins this season.
You just saw right at the beginning of that clip, Hugues. He just looked up very quickly in a millisecond at Mike Brown and gave him the signal, come short. Just gave him that quick signal with a hand. Mike Brown knew exactly what to do. Very, very quick communication.
So latest score from the other quarter-final. Connacht leading by 7 points to 0. Good pick-up from Kerr. Botica does nicely. Low is caught high. Not forwards. And it's Irish who Marius Maitreya has given the advantage to.
Advantage over for Knocker.
No longer. Have to try and do something with it. McKibben works it back to Geraghty again. Chase on here, foully underneath it. Marlon Yard too challenging.
I think with a kick like that, you can see it's a nice idea, and they load it up. But they put an extra man out on the left, London Irish. But I think you've got to at least turn Marlon Yard, and you've got to give your guys something to run onto. So by the time the ball arrives, everyone's kind of waiting on the floor, socialising a bit. There's that much hang time. You've got to get an extra good 10 or 15 yards onto that. Give your guys a run up.
Yeah, just one of those, I suppose, who's looking to use the back end of the season here to force his way onto a plane to Australia with England. A scrap for selection. Clifford controlling things here. Irish struggling to deal with it.
One stop, 9.
Still they inch forwards. Still Jack Clifford has his hands on it. Now he's fed it back to Chris Robshaw. Well, they're still moving forwards, but Marius Matreya's had enough of it all. Fowley in a little bit of space. He's very quick, but some crossing has enabled him to run into that space.
Oh, that's really tough, that call there. I thought we saw this up at Bath last week, Anthony Watson and Chris Ashton. You want your players to give you a little hole, a bit of a nudge, just to be able to release the back three to run into. But in that case, unfortunately, it's a little bit too obvious for Marius Matreya, and he's penalised London Irish and given Harlequins a lovely opportunity to kick into the corner.
You look at London Irish players here, you're sort of digging elbows in like that. You're going to struggle. You see Luke Wallace properly knocked off course then. We used to call it ghost lines, so you're there but you're not there. You just get in the way, you make yourself of where they are, and then you, without looking at them, run into their path, frankly.
Did you ever run a ghost line, Flats?
Oh, you should have seen me. Yeah, I literally wasn't there.
Really good work from Roberts. Yard is dancing through the traffic, sending it wide to George Lowe, and there's the big man. Tim Visser claims Harlequins seconds, or does he?
I tell you what, if he just pulled it back for a blocking line just a couple of minutes ago, with then Mike Brown was certainly
by 15 Queens,
and that's being lenient. He was a distraction, a bit of a mix-up with himself and Marlon Yard in the midfield.
There's the block from Brown.
Yeah, it's not deliberate, but he's coming in to get Yard, isn't he? They can't give that, surely.
Yeah.
Mark Crone's coming in. He's absolutely targeting Yard. Here he comes, and he gets actually not hit by Brown, but knocked off course. Surely they can't give that.
Let me tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Queen's player, which is in front of the ball carrier, so it's not in a position to catch the ball, and he's making contact with the Irish defender. So for me, that's an obstruction.
Absolutely agree with you.
So it's an obstruction. Thank you.
Obstruction.
No try.
Carlo Damasco is the television match official from Italy tonight, and that's Visser's try chalked off.
The shame of it being is actually how Harlequins manipulated that space. Jamie Roberts, known as a big ball carrier, turning the ball up to Danny Kerr. Marlon Yard exploiting the space. It was a 4-on-2. Unfortunately, Marlon and Mike Brown weren't quite on the same page there. Try chalked off.
They worked so well in tandem for Luke Wallace's try a few minutes ago. It was a lovely bit of skill on a hard line from Roberts. Was pulling it back to Kerr, but they did garner themselves some space illegally.
Tidy work at the line out until Kerr has read it like a book, and he's hurtling for the try line. Danny Kerr, sharp of mind, fleet of foot, captain for the night. Harlequins have their second.
Tell you what, from up here, we're dead level with that. 20 or 30 yards elevated from the field. You could see it a mile off, but there's no way to legislate for a guy this sharp. You look at McKibben there, and from up here you think he cannot throw that pass. The ball is never going to beat Kerr, and you think, well, McKibben must know what he's doing. He's done this 100 times. Look at Danny Kerr at the back here sprinting. I tell you what, absolutely flat out, that is arrogant, and I say that as a compliment. Just like he was under the post, this guy is so full of confidence, and he's got the ability to back it up. That's just fantastic.
Apart from his speed there, the rugby intelligence as well, as he kisses to his crowd. His mum and dad are always up there as well, so he's signalling to them. But it's just his rugby intelligence, knowing that London Irish are thrown to the front of the line, that it's going to be a 15 or 20 metre pass to Shane Geraghty. He knows that he can get an interceptor. That's exactly what he does. Brilliant play.
And Botica bang on the money as well. 12 points to 3 now. Quins opening up something of a buffer. And Danny Kerr showing the way.
Just feel for McKibbin here. He doesn't even look, doesn't expect him to be there. Now presumably there is somebody at the back of that London Irish line-out whose job it is to get in the way, almost ghost it, but I think Danny Kerr was too far back, too far behind the 15. He must have been.
Did well to outpace Fowley as well, who is no slouch.
Rapid, he looked very quick then. I hope you see him in some space.
Release, Quins.
So McKibbin this time does find his man, finds his captain, Pace. And onwards they go. Will Lloyd. They've been missing George Skivington for much of the season, and it's really cost them, London Irish. Key man in that second row. They do have the penalty.
Off feet.
So let's just see the decision here from London Irish. They will head for the posts, thanks to Shane Geraghty. So let's have a word with Richie Whiffin, part of the coaching staff at London Irish. Richie, with any luck, you'll be well within touch with this penalty, but do you feel Quins have already got a rather nasty grip on things?
Yeah, they've started very well. You know, a bit of a sucker punch, that intercept there. And they've played with a lot of flair, and we know they're going to run from deep and try and attack from everywhere. We've just got to try and shut that down a little bit more. A couple of times they've managed to get the ball off the top at the back of the line out, which again we need to try and shut down to stop Danny Kerr running, and obviously Jamie Roberts coming into that 10 channel.
How hard has it been mentally to get these guys in the right frame of mind to tonight, given everything that's going on, given the league position, what's happening next week?
Oh, it's a cup quarter final, so you know it's not hard at all. You know, everyone wants to play in this game. There's been a little bit of rotation, but you know, opportunity for silverware, so everyone's really up for the game. Like so, we're back within 6 points, so there's nothing really in it.
Thanks for your time, Richie.
Cheers.
Geraghty's second of the night. Deficit still 6 points. Irish clinging on. And they need to start creating opportunities of their own. You just feel that Quins are warming up. You just feel they've got extra gears. Full of hunger, full of purpose. They themselves unlikely to make the Premiership playoffs. Still very much a possibility, but perhaps not a terribly likely one. Making this game and this competition all the more significant. Kerr finding yard. And that inside ball which does such damage. Clifford onto it. Merrick. Gray.
Advantage.
Exiles straying offside, so another penalty coming Quins' way. Botica. Roberts, well stopped by Brophy Clues, holding up well under pressure defensively.
No advantage. Offside. You have the number? Number 10 and number 2 offside.
Yes, you're talking about the first 4 London Irish defenders offside. Quins be getting so much quick ball. I think London Irish
offside.
Jumped the gun and thought it was going to be quicker than it was. There they go, they shoot up now. Problem is, they would be okay if the ball was even slower than that and they got themselves back onside. They'd probably be forgiven that, but the fact that the ball did come out, I imagine Danny Kerr knew they'd moved up offside, and as they were backtracking to get themselves back onside, he fired that ball out so that when the ball was delivered they were still in an offside position.
Quins with this excellent record in the Challenge Cup here at the Stoop. They've won 17 of their 20 contests in the second tier of Europe here. Almost a decade since they last lost here in the Challenge Cup. Bath, December 2006. And if Ben Botica has anything to do with it, that record will stand after this evening. 15 points to 6. his second of the night. Challenge Cup champions, of course, on 3 separate occasions: 2001, 2004, 2011. Real drive to make sure that Conor O'Shea leaves the club with something tangible, Ugo, as well, isn't there here? You hear him talk about it a lot. Desperate for silverware, something meaningful.
Yeah, well, Conor's a very passionate guy. He's given so much. He's got 3 trophies in his 6 years. They'll be desperate to make it 4. And the way things are looking at the minute, we wouldn't bet against them.
Geraghty searching for space. Fenby shut down early by George Lowe. There's David Pace. Abrasive character, running hard into that Queen's defence. There's a good burst from Jeb Sinclair, Canadian international. Geraghty changing direction nicely. Brophy Clues opening up space for Mulcrone. Kick through, tricky one for Visser. He's not hung on to it, and Mulcrone has hung on to it. Mulcrone is looking to be awarded a try.
It looks good to me, that.
Or a green hand.
So checking any reason why not throw a try. Carlo? Any reason why I cannot throw the try? We're checking knock on by green.
Ok, stand by, stand by.
Guarda per in avanti. Verde.
What a fillip this would be if it was awarded to London Irish. Mulcrone, who created the mayhem. Good follow-up from Fowley to dislodge the ball.
That's a try. I mean, as far as I'm concerned there, I just question Visser. Get down on that ball, dive on it, 7 metres from your try line. Ball's been knocked back. Mulcrone onto his toe in the corner. It's a great try from London Irish.
I have decision.
Tell me, Carlo.
I have no reason for not the word try.
So I may order try.
Correct.
Thank you. Try.
Try for Fergus Mulcrone. The London Irish right in the mix here as we head for the half-hour mark.
Some nice interplay down the right flank from London Irish in that attack. Ultimately, it was a bit of a kick to nothing to put the Quins' defence under a bit of pressure because they'd run out of room. And Ugo, you mentioned before the match, this has been electric this season in attack, but defensively there are occasionally question marks. And then he's a big old unit. He's just got to get himself down on that ball. It's a long way to bend down when you're 6'4", 6'5". He's got to hit the deck and play it safe.
Well, what about that? What about that from Shane Geraghty? Fabulous kick from the fly half, and if anything's to give them a little bit of heart, a little bit of hope, it's been the last few minutes.
That was a brilliant kick. And actually it was Geraghty's decision not to put it back inside, but to actually pull it back and go wide down the right, then add a bit of variety to their attack that led to that try.
3 from 3 off the tee. Irish just 2 points adrift now.
Away.
He's not rolling away.
No tackler. You have to go back. Number 6.
So afforded a little bit of breathing space as well here, the Exiles. Ugo.
Yeah, well, in games like this, just doing the simple things where that try actually started from. This great restart from Shane Geraghty, putting hopes of pressure on George Merrick. Sean Maitland, he then gets the ball back. Harlequins still don't deal with it. They keep possession for 2 minutes later. They're in the corner for a try. So in games like this, talk about senior play, stepping up, doing the basics right.
Will Lloyd claiming the line out. It's Trayford who's wormed his way to the tail. McKibben breaks away. Good chase on here again from the try scorer Mulcrone. Brown is back, and Brown likes to look at what's in front of him. Tackle is made by Fenby.
Use it. Stop.
And that's a tidy enough exit from Ben Bossica, taking him all the way up to the 10-metre line.
Yep.
He's He's had one or two sticky moments in the absence of Nick Evans, which he won't need any reminding of, but he is, by and large, an incredibly reliable player, Botica, isn't he?
Outstanding off the boot. I remember when he made his European debut against Biarritz, 20 points, including a try. There's Nick Evans there, hopefully back in a month, sat next to Tim Swill, and now the flyer's been injured, but no, Ben Botica is a very talented young man.
Kuska. Trayford doing a lot of work in those close confines. Well, Crone, good leg drive over the 10-metre line. Jeb Sinclair again, driven back in the tackle from Rob Shaw. Plenty of purpose here from London Irish. Good patience as well. Geraghty assessing the options. Well read by Brown.
Rock! Use it!
Got to give credit to London Irish. It must have been a difficult week, obviously, a lot of rotation. But you look at the stats; they're up on the possession territory. 70% has been played in Harlequins half, and because they've got the territory, it's forcing Harlequins to play. And London Irish have been really patient, and now they've got an opportunity to take the lead.
That's in a great position.
Flying in, diving. Yeah, number one.
They can put themselves in front, and a little talking to here for Danny Kerr.
The one who's diving, he should support his body weight. Okay, post. Yeah. Post.
So the communication pretty clear from Marius Maitreya. Despite the 2 scores against them, London Irish digging in. Resilient bunch. They've had to put out a lot of fires through the course of this season. They've done it all with a smile on their face. They enjoyed their time away, of course, in the US when they played Saracens. That provided a little bit of relief. Their league campaign, we mentioned it earlier, just a suffocating environment, really, week by week.
Time off here.
Especially this season after the World Cup, 10 games on the bounce. And when you've had the injury woes which they've had at a club, and they are a small squad, it really does just amplify everything.
Grenoble Connacht is live now on ESPN HD at the last remaining quarter-final in the Challenge Cup. Grenoble leading by...
okay, you have to go quick now.
Excuse me, Connacht leading by 19 points to 3. Leicester Stade tomorrow from 1 o'clock. At Welford Road, BT Sport Europe. Tigers are going to get back to the top of the European tree. Sarri's Harlequins are offering next Saturday from Wembley, 3 o'clock. And there's the big one we've all been talking about. And in the meantime, Shane Geraghty's putting Irish in front. I'm not sure you'd have picked too many who'd have looked at that scoreline and decided that was the way this match was going to go half an hour ago. 34 minutes on the clock, London Irish ahead by a point.
It's a rock! Away 6.
McKibben, that's a real tester, but Brown, magnificent. Almost at full speed, gathering and dropping.
The ball is available. The ball is clearly available.
Botica, Clifford, and Clifford on the loop. Running a clever line. Good work over the ball by Irish, but they've been cleared out effectively. And Rob Shaw carries it onwards. Botica again. Powerful burst up the middle from Sam Toomey. Botica, a bustling run, he's made good ground. Kerr caught ball in hand, but McKibben straying offside.
Penalty advantage.
And Brown just working out that he did have the advantage, and then, well, it was the chip to nothing, and yeah, not best pleased.
Well, chip to nothing, then he got absolutely buried, didn't he?
Yeah.
It took exception to it. A little left paw out.
Close.
That was that high ball he took a couple of minutes ago was fabulous. He absolutely steamed into that.
Yeah, this is Mike Brown at his very best. Leaps like a salmon, eyes always on the ball, takes a knock, but look at his reaction, straight back to his feet. He never accepts that he's beaten or tackled. He's one of the most competitive men I've ever actually met. People call him angry, I call him passionate. Outstanding rugby player. And you've got to say, Harlequins' decision to take the points is in respect to London Irish. You know, we were talking before the game, you know, the game's not played on paper. On paper, Harlequins are a far superior team, but London Irish have really shown up today, and fair play to them.
And Quinn's back in front. Very tidy from the tee, Ben Botica. 82% for the season. Kicked all but one in the big win over Newcastle last week. And no mistaking that one. 18 points to 16 as we head towards the break.
Have a look at what Geraghty produces here. One of his great talents is his drop kicking. Often makes it really competitive. You could argue that someone from London Irish should have been there a bit quicker, then that hung up for a long time. Quinn's able to take that comfortably. It's not a good enough chase from Irish for my money.
Wait, please. No.
Good work from Fenby, who's then handled backwards.
Use it! Away,
Geraghty sends up the bomb. Diffused by Mike Brown.
Oh, it's a waste going there. It genuinely is. Mike Brown is brilliant in the air.
Clever little kick from Botica, but it's well anticipated by Geraghty.
Wait, Irish.
And the territorial game in full flow at the moment. Botica claiming the mark.
Not quite as convincing. Got the job done, mind you.
10.
He is magnificent in the air, Mike Brown, isn't he? Few better in world rugby under the high ball.
Yeah, I think that you talk as a team before matches, you talk about backing yourself against anybody, but I think at some point you've got to be pragmatic and say, if we're going to put it up, let's not put it up anywhere near that bloke.
Taking quickly the line out here.
Stop 8. Okay.
Brown. Kibbin.
Keep coming.
Marlon Yard hurtling towards this one. And then checking and setting off again.
This is the middle ground.
Boot of Merrick not making that the easiest for Jamie Roberts, but here's Mark Lambert on the rumble. Ball is loose. Looks like Danny Kerr might have lost out that time. Irish have it. A little bit of sloppiness creeping in to Harlequins ranks.
Stop.
And Brophy Clues looks for the touchline, finds Botica instead.
Release Green. There's the ball available.
Right. Marlon Yard again chasing the Kerr kick, and McKibben clobbered early.
Use it.
McCusker, former Scarlets man. And they won the penalty. Quins have entirely endeared themselves to Marius Maitre. Penalty number 7.
If you go quickly, have time.
It's almost that stating the obvious. English isn't his first language. You have to listen twice as hard, and often that communication isn't natural for the referee in English. So you have to work out what he is going to say. And a couple of times he's just called Quins, Quins, Quins when he wants Quins to roll away. They're used to being told roll away one, move away. But you have to react quick. You've got to listen to what the ref is saying. And if Quins means roll away, please, Quins, you do so.
Well, Conor O'Shea dismissing talk pre-match. this being a straightforward night out for his men. He knew it would be tougher. A man, of course, with London Irish deep in his blood as well. Player, captain, director of rugby. And they're building nicely here with the clock in the red at the end of the first half. Driving inside the 22 through Mulcrone. Geraghty searching for it. Promising finish to this opening 40. McCusker. Brophy Clues. Half a gap. Closed quickly. And Halavataw drops it. Shame. Ninth phase of possession, they were building to something quite meaningful. But nevertheless, a scoreline of 18-16 at the break will hearten them, given the changes they've made, given the situation they find themselves in the Aviva Premiership. Harlequins with 2 tries through Wallace and Kerr. London Irish with their 1 through Fergus Mulcrone. Right in the mix here, the Exiles. Quins 18, Irish 16 at the break. All the analysis to come in the company of Nick Kennedy. Join us shortly. Final place is anyone's at the moment. A reminder, of course, that if it is still tied, if it ends up being tied after 80 minutes, 2 points separating them at the moment, we go to extra time, 10 minutes each way, and it's down to the most tries in a match, and then we head for the dreaded place-kicking competition, which we all hope probably we don't get to, except some impartial observers. You quite like to see it, wouldn't you, Flash? You just look
speak for yourself.
What are you saying? I want to see that.
Yeah, speak for yourself. As long as I don't miss the sausage van, they can do what they want.
It just seems like a slightly inadequate way to end proceedings. We've seen it on a couple of occasions, haven't we? But I think the players will be hoping to settle it in the normal 80 as it stands. That's out on the full, and not the best of starts for Irish, who just need to galvanise themselves here. Recognise that they are really in with a shout.
There's the middle. Yeah.
There was space there. Mulcrone knew as soon as he hit it, it put a bit too much on it. Just wondered if they might have kept that in hand and actually hit it back through the midfield with some big forwards. It's worked well for them so far.
Good disruption there from Will Lloyd, but the ball is with Quins and with Joe Gray. Scored his first try for 5 years last week. Joe Gray. Danny Kerr looking to release Wallace. Little clever kick through. Clifford has plenty of pace, needs to be able to control it, and McKibben was preventing him from doing that, was he? Certainly that's the way he feels.
Ghost line, it was a ghost line.
Yeah,
nothing in that, I didn't think. Quins disagree. Very clever kick from Luke Wallace. How about that for a bit of skill?
How about this dive? Look like Diego Costa, watch this.
Oh, he's kind of got his arms around in there.
Look at this dive from Clifford.
Well, that is it's effectively a tackle. Well, that is a dive, though. So do you know what? In one sense, I'd take it back. McKibben did lay his hands on him, did give it too much. But if you're going to dive like that, you deserve nothing, Chief. So justice is served.
Is it a full dive if you land on your knees?
He's taking a chunk out the old touchline as well. He needs to work on his diving better.
Everybody on the pitch is
a Chelsea supporter.
Not just him, but not
explains a lot.
Okay.
Well, he's had an incredible season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
A breakthrough season.
He's a
Jack
brilliant
Clifford.
player. Brilliant player.
Going to be a superstar for club and country for many, many years, you feel. So versatile, capable of playing all across the back row. Bright leadership skills too. There seems to be no end to his talents.
Flats, preferred position for Jack Clifford.
6, 7 or 8. I think everyone's saying 8. I think I want to see more bullocking ball carrying from before I can out and out 8. As Quins are penalised, I think, for colliding too early then. Putting his arms on the player in the air. Sam Toomey. But I think for Clifford, it's an interesting one. I want to see him barnstorming and regularly making yards. Someone like Nick Easter, who's quite a pair of boots to fill. The sort of guy that gets the ball with no right to make yards and makes yards. It's a hell of a kick that from Geraghty. But you know, you need to be that sort of player. Look at Faletau, the influence he can quietly have on a game. Vunipola, Nathan Hughes when he qualifies. These are the guys you're up against. Look at the ball carrying of someone like Dave Ewers. All right, he's not a 6. Clifford's got to get there for me. We're close to it before we can look at him as a long-term international number 8.
A little bit of space to work here for Sean Maitland, who's had a relatively quiet first 40 minutes, but Irish meaning business here. The tackles coming in thick and fast. Geraghty trying to pull the strings. Fenby held up by Robshaw for a moment, and onwards they go. Had plenty of territory, plenty of possession, London Irish. It's there for McKibben again. Cusker, McKibben, Geraghty, options here. Kerr, oh, just one boot on the touchline.
Yeah, a bit of a let-off. London Irish actually just building in confidence. The one thing which have been lacking from them all season has certainly been belief, and they've gone in just slightly up, and that's just a little error from Danny Kerr there, just not quite aware of his whereabouts. It gives London Irish that ball back, but a lot of possession, like I mentioned, from London Irish, getting through the phases. But Jamie Roberts, this guy's been signed for a couple of reasons. One, to get over the top of people, and defensively to make massive hits. And how about this? David Pace, senior player, hooker, stopped that dead. But fair play to Irish, kept hold of the ball, lovely kick to the court for Shane Geraghty. Another attacking opportunity.
I agree with that. Every time I've watched Jamie Roberts live this year, yes, he runs good lines, yes, he communicates well, it's a safe pair of hands and all that, but what has really stuck out for me above anything else has been his physicality and his just commitment, his sort of frenzied defence. He loves a big hit, but he puts his body right in there. Considering he's the sort of guy that's going to walk into his national side anyway, deserves a bit of credit for that.
Well, it looks like he means business tonight, for sure. Trying the final for the Cardiff Blues way back in 2010 over Toulon. And Irish threatening here. 10 metres out. Quinn's beginning to splinter.
These become difficult to stop legally. You've got a couple of guys from London Irish in a really nice position in the power there, in the power positions. They're low, you've got centres joining in. Brophy Clues is in there. Not sure he's got a huge amount of weight, but he's up for it. Quins have done just enough to stop that before the line.
I tell you what, if they haven't scored that, massive credit's got to go to George Merrick. The way he managed to negotiate his way through that maul. Made that very awkward.
I have the same picture by myself, okay? We'll check that. TMO, Carlo? Any reason why I cannot award the try? We've seen the grounding, but we want to make sure it's nothing in the process.
Okay, I'll have a look.
Thank you.
Yeah, the advice from the assistant referee Ben Whitehouse on this this near side touch, saying that he'd seen the ball grounded, but he wasn't sure how it had got there.
Royal Mail, have a look. It's a bit messy from Irish, but ultimately powerful, tightly bound. Oh, where's that ball?
We have a few more bodies. They've done well to see the ball grounded.
There's a ball. Now he's on the floor, McKibben. Now, is that McKibben at the back there? I think it was 9 on his back.
It is.
If it is, I reckon that's close to a double movement. Unless I don't think he might not be held, actually.
I think that's a
Must
try.
be having a crawl.
He sheared. It looks like he sheared off the maul on his own, one-man army, and managed to get that down. If you look bottom right, just as this drops, McKibben,
Because it wasn't attacking.
I think manages to snaffle this. Put him off our screen.
I don't think the Queenslanders. I don't think anyone knows where the ball is, frankly. How would you?
Yeah, it is there. You can see.
He's got it down. He's not held by a Harlequin.
Yes, Carlo? So I made the try. Thank
Wow.
you. Try.
Try awarded. Irish getting the rub of the green, which is not something they've had this season. Brendan McKibben has struck. They're back in front.
Yeah, it's McKibben's first ever try for London Irish, and rule number 1, never ever break off a driving maul on your own unless you score. And he managed it. What's interesting for me is you look at that first half, and Quins have made a lot of carries. They've made 55 carries. Sounds good until you realise they've only been in opposition territory for what is it, 33% of this match, so a third of the match in opposition territory means they're playing a huge amount of rugby in their own half, and there's the Quins way we all know and love and all that, but at some point you've got to get pragmatic. London Irish are feasting on errors, and when they get the ball they're keeping it and scoring.
Okay, grazie, due, tre.
Garrity is nailing his kicks from the touchline. 23 points to 18. Irish flags waving.
Number 2 and number 3.
Smiles all round from those in green.
I think we're in danger of saying this is all about Harlequins not playing well enough, but you know what? London Irish have come to play. They're really delivering. Shane Garrity's one of those players that, as a neutral, is just wonderful to watch when he's on his game. And so far, he's doing what he wants tonight.
It's carried back.
Gathered in by Fowley. What a turn-up this would be for the Exiles, against all odds, really. They could carry it through. Once again, Brown claiming the high ball. Irish under instruction from Marius Maitreya. And here's Carl Sinclair, who's newly onto the field for Adam Jones. Getting a slightly speculative offload away. It looked as if Robshaw was lifted in the tackle. And this could spell trouble for Irish and for their captain, David Pace.
He's the most, I mean, he's got the worst discipline in Premiership history. I've got to say, all he's done is actually just get a good shot on Chris Robshaw. However, if we're to apply the law, then I think he's in a bit of trouble.
Carlo, can you check for the possible lifting tackle? And we need to make sure the number which made the tackle, please.
Okay, step by.
Folo Damasco into battle again. Here's the tackle from Pace. There's a definite lift. He's going to be in trouble for that.
Yep, he's gone. Spoke about David Pace before the game. Brilliant player, but just plays right on the edge and too often steps over it. He does get a really good shot on with his left arm. He lifts Robshaw's right leg. He's just past the 90, no question.
He doesn't need to do it. Actually, Chris Robshaw's done him a favour by dropping his arm, because if he doesn't, he's going on his head or his neck.
Carlo,
yes, it's a minimum
number 2 lifted the legs above the horizontal.
Yeah.
Player landed on his back, so it's a penalty and yellow card for me.
That's completely correct, yes.
Against number 2, green.
Number 2, green.
And the penalty is on the 10-meter line.
Yes, yes. Where are you staying?
Number 2.
Come in, David Pace. This is a familiar scenario.
You think he landed on the third there?
Yeah, but that's why it's just a yellow card. Okay. Otherwise it would have been more.
It's yellow. It's yellow for Pace, and he's probably quite fortunate it wasn't a different colour.
Could
Dangerous tackle.
have been red, and like I mentioned, Chris Robshaw actually dropping his arm. I think save David Pace. It's just unnecessary, and it's almost kind of.
Okay, here.
You know,
thanks, Carl.
This has kind of been London Irish's season. So much promise, so many opportunities, with bits of ill discipline, like I see here. Great hit, finish it off. No need to tip him there. And all he's done is invite pressure and possession back to Harlequins.
4th yellow card of the season for David Pace. He's the record holder in the Premiership for 19 in total. Wide. It's wide. So a let off for Irish, but for how long? Down a man with their skipper in the bin.
What's a let off in the short term? His actual offence hasn't led to any points, but it's firstly it's what Harlequins can do in the next 10 minutes to London Irish, but also how London Irish pay in the legs, particularly up front, the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Brown feeding Bortica. Clifford. On a plate for Kerr. Inside ball for George Lowe. Sinclair juggling with it. And then Trayfoot right on top of him. They ward on. Hooker over the top they go, and Gwyn's up and running on the front foot.
Sinclair over the right shoulder, that was naughty. I like that.
Is that a little knock on? No, Marius Maitreya's happy. Dug through by Irish. And Quinn's pegged back.
A little bit loose from Quins. As soon as George Lowe took the ball in, made a couple of metres, you heard someone calling for the offload. I think it was Sinclair calling G Lowe for the offload. Wasn't really on, too much traffic about, all got a bit scrappy from then. As O'Shea and Kingston look on. But there's no need to be that loose, but it's tempting when the opposition are a man down. You think you've got to score all your points in the next 10 minutes. You're better off sticking to what you do, not taking any crazy risks and just wearing them out by forcing them to work, forcing them to put the work into their legs.
Great noise here at the Stoop. Clifford on the carry once more. Botica.
Stop, 18, 7.
Fenby. Clifford. Turns and heads off and looks to get the ball away, keep it moving, and that could have been nice. Could have been nice, but it wasn't.
It just dropped on Rob Shaw's laces, didn't it? Couldn't quite gather it. Now there'll be a change. Tom Cruise will come on, because of course there's got to be a hooker. 8 goes, so McCusker goes to make way. And also don't forget Harlequins have recently brought Carl Sinclair and Dave Ward off the bench, so they should have some explosion in those legs ready to go. It's their first scrum. Mark Lambert's got a hell of an engine, he just keeps on going and going, doesn't really seem to get tired, the big fellow. So Quins will be looking to assert their numerical advantage here.
So a new look front row for Quins, with Ward and Sinclair in there for Gray and Jones. And Tom Cruise into the thick of things for London Irish, joining Wasps next season.
The ball is in the middle. The ball is in the middle.
And Quins beginning to get a nudge on making life difficult, but good recovery from Irish, good disruption from Kerr. This is Maitland, plenty of room in front of him. Maitland sets off, carving a way through. Mike Brown was nowhere. Sean Maitland has scored for London Irish. Out of nowhere, something from nothing.
Absolutely outstanding. We spoke about David Pace's discipline before the game. Unfortunately, he lived up to that. We spoke about Sean Maitland, electric in attack. He's lived up to that too. For me, and you might argue I would say this, that was a key set piece for Harlequins. They had to exert some pressure, put some power through on the London Irish pack, depleted by 1. Smallbone on the loose head, resisted everything Sinclair had to give. You're right, Mike Brown was nowhere near that. Nobody was anywhere near him. There's a big hole there, Roots.
There certainly is. I think at times, I mean, Danny Kerr put so much pressure from the base, and because that ball kind of fumbled or rolled along the floor, everyone just stood on their heels. You're always told as in defence to go up both sides. When Botica doesn't go up, or is it George Lowe on that flow side doesn't go up. Sean Maitland certainly doesn't wait for anyone, finds that seam between first receiver and the scrum, and then it's just, well, I was going to say it was an easy run, it certainly wasn't. He had to get past Mike Brown and showed him a clean pair of heels. Brilliant finish. Been typical of London Irish's performance so far. They have taken anything given to them, and they've certainly converted it.
2 more to add to the tally. 30 points to 18, London Irish. Fighting hard, fighting every step of the way, and with their captain in the bin, they've come up with a try from their right winger. How key that they've got points on the board with a man down.
Just a gaping hole there for him to run through. That hole should never be there. Back row, an inside back should be communicating there to shut that down. Great finish from Maitland.
Quick handling here from Harlequins. Charlie Matthews onto the fields at lock for Conor O'Shea's men. The pass is loose. Marlon Yard has it. Roberts coming clattering up the middle. The target is there. Options left and right. Botica starting right and heading left, and then almost skipping through the hole. Robshaw isolated, needs some help. Quins roused from their slumber. Sinclair offloading game outstanding. Brown can't find Yard. Second time around he drives to within 3 metres. Still Quins pile forwards, needing a reaction, needing a response. Maybe they've got that.
Time.
The picture not clear. But certainly, Quins acting now as if stung. They've been given a great big capital prod up the backside.
I was here last week. Harlequins played Newcastle. After 50 minutes, the game was dead and buried. They'd scored the 4 tries, got the 5 points. Before you knew it, Newcastle scored 3 tries, and it was game on. They then kick-started again, and with their star quality, got themselves back into the game. I think exactly what's happened here.
Just of one phase before going in goal, and then try yes or no, please.
Okay, I'll have a look.
So we're checking the phase before they headed to the try line, checking for a knock-on. This was before this tackle here, I believe, was it not? Brown
stripped by Femby, wasn't it?
Okay.
He's happy with that. You can see Marius Maitre content with that decision. I think it's the one before that.
Must be, it can't be that one.
I didn't see the ground.
Here we go.
Carlo, so
Mike Brown was just caught in 2 minds. That comes off Geraghty for me. Wants to pop it to Marlon Yard. Just goes in front of Yard, bounces off Geraghty, back into Brown's hands, it looked to me. Then that ball there looks to be stripped from Femby, by Femby.
Please, let's try. Please. Carlo?
Let me check the pass. 1 minute, please.
Right, Carlo Damasco still busy in the truck. The grounding's going to take another 5 minutes as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got nowhere to be.
Check the last pass, Marius, please.
Okay, please check the last pass.
Put the kettle on.
Just wait.
Whatever the result, how about that hard line from Roberts on the 22, that hard line from Sinclair with the offload. Really, really good direct stuff from Quins.
Well, that should be Brown. Femby's gone for a strip. Mike Brown's regathered.
Got any view, Ben, on that? Carlo, ti stai vedendo le immagini perché noi non vediamo niente.
So this could be Danny Kerr's second.
Looks a try, doesn't it?
It looks good.
Marius?
Yes?
I have a decision.
Yes, tell me, Carlo.
There is no evidence about the forward pass.
Okay.
And the grounding is fine, so you may award try.
So no knock on, and you see the grounding, so I may award a try.
Correct.
Try.
Danny Kerr's got his second of the night. He's got Harlequins third, and he's dragged them back into contention. A tale of 2 skippers.
Yeah, painful watching in the end for David Pace. What a match this is. Testing Harlequins' resilience to the limit. Our London Irish really, really come to play. They seem delighted that Quins want to play so much rugby in their own half. When they do get the ball away and get into London Irish's half, they look incredibly dangerous.
Oh dear, just slides past. Every point so precious now as we head towards the final quarter. That's a couple that have gone begging for Harlequins. 7 points the gap. Changes being made. Change at loose head for Irish. Tom Court replacing Tom Smallbone.
Been good, Smallbone. Good prospect for the future, but never mind that. A good player now. Really, really strong tonight so far.
You wonder if London Irish win this match, is this a distraction they actually want?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, there's a few questions that need to be asked. If they end up not just winning this match, what if they win the tournament? What if they win the Challenge Cup and they earn a place in the Champions Cup whilst being relegated? Do they get to play in the Champions Cup from the Championship? It's a decision that hasn't actually been made, as I understand it.
Stop.
they'll probably worry about that a lot later on. This is Brown. Hard and straight and over halfway.
By foot, play on,
Kerr
balls out.
disrupted by Fenby. Irish on the front foot again. McKibben has been
He has the ball.
disrupted by Dave Wards.
It's a tackle. Low. Let it go.
Geraghty. Crossfield looking to pick out Fowley. He's found Fowley. And then the ball is spilt by Tom Cruise. Disappointing end for London Irish as they move towards the 22-metre line.
Carried back.
Quinn's looking to play here still, low to Brown. The offload is a good one, it's an excellent one. Bottika's through, Visser's on his shoulder, and Visser's held back. Absolutely no doubt about that.
It's a yellow card.
Tom Guest is going to go into the bin here for this, surely.
Easy.
Right in front of the referee.
Time. I have a flag.
Easy call for the ref this, I think. What an offload from Mike Brown, that was gorgeous.
Pull back by Green on 11, but I did not get a number because they were facing the wrong way.
Okay, Carlo, can you show us the number, please?
Yes, it's Tom Guest.
Carlo's a busy boy, isn't he?
For me, it's no more a penalty, just bear that in mind.
Yeah, minus the 6 and green.
It's not just a pullback either, is it?
6, Captain. 6. Who's 6? Yeah, it's just a penalty, but please be very careful next time on.
He's a very, very lucky boy.
You see his face. He knows. Puff of the cheeks. Ooh, he thinks he's got away with that one. I agree.
That's an awful decision.
Dodged the bullet there, Mr. Guest.
When you have a player that's been let off and he's now laughing in your face, I mean, that should be a yellow card in itself. I mean, you don't get more cynical than that.
He's looking at his old Queen's teammates having a bit of a laugh there.
How about this for an offload then? Let's talk about a thing of beauty. Mike Brown, under left arm.
Oh, stop. Oh, beautiful.
That was like you back in your heyday, wasn't it, Flash?
That's exactly, yeah. That's what I would have done then. Just exactly that, out the back.
Well, it would have been very interesting to see that ball go to hand. Tom Guest knows that he is extremely fortunate to still be on the pitch. In the meantime, Irish are back to full strength, or will be very shortly. A handful of seconds remaining on the sin binning. Wallace breaks away. Quinn's looking to make the most of their numerical advantage as the clock ticks away on that yellow card. They've got one score, but so have Irish. Maybe Quins have got a second here. Rob Shaw.
Elia, hai visto qualcosa? Non hai visto niente.
Awful lot of consultation tonight, isn't there?
Try yes or no, please.
More work for Carlo Damasco, busiest man in southwest London.
It's a try.
Well, it looks good, isn't it? As long as he made the whitewash.
Comes off powerful into left shin, doesn't it? Is it short? That looks
like on the whitewash.
That looks short for me from here, Roots. The other angle it didn't. It looked like a try. Looks like a try from this angle, I think. There's the line, there's the kneecap. Yeah, the tip of the ball's on the line, isn't it? Looks like Fergus Moore-Crone actually helps him a bit. Less convincing this angle, but
We're going to gain an awful lot from that angle.
Yes, to say the last one, wait to the last one.
Brown getting restless.
Stop, sir.
Yes, Carlo.
For me, it's a shot. So he lost to the ball in front. It's a shot, so not part by attacking team.
So it's short or it's a knock-on?
It's knock-on. They lost the ball. It's knock-on.
No try.
No try.
No try. Rob Shaw denied. The Harlequins fans denied. Not for the first time this evening. If you remember way back in the middle part of the first half, Tim Visser was denied.
I'm going to sound like a bitter ex-player, and I'm certainly none of those. But the refs had a shock of that last minute. Should have been a yellow card for Tom Guest, and that should be a try. You've only got to get a bit of the ball on the whitewash, and I thought he had half of it.
From that angle, as I said, I think it looked short. From the other angle, I don't think it did look short. For me, I thought that was going to be given a try.
Well, Tom Guest is finally making way. Dave Ceci is on in his place. Player originally left London Irish to head to Bath, back on loan. And David Pace back on the field for London Irish. The last few minutes might just plant a seed or two of doubt in Harlequins' minds. Those last couple of decisions, the Guest decision on the non-yellow, just the penalty, and then the no try, they're the kind of things that make you think as players maybe it isn't our night, Flats.
Or they give you a little bit of extra kick. Just have a look at the powerful man on the Irish tight head here, trying to go head on head with Mark Lambert, just pushing Mark Lambert's head out to the left. It's a deliberate tactic, trying to get inside Lambert, push Lambert out the outside, and nothing's happened. Of course it hasn't.
McKibben just looking to make sure that Danny Kerr can't disrupt McCusker from the base. Well, Crone stealing an extra few metres. McKibben again waiting over at the Australian. And just about beyond the 22. It'll do for now.
London Irish, a team that haven't had much luck this season, are certainly getting the rub of the green tonight, but regardless of poor refereeing decision last couple of minutes, they have been brilliant today in terms of their approach. We know it's been tough for them, but they've come here to play.
So the ball worked to Wallace here. Well set, Harlequins. Wallace manoeuvring his way past the bodies. Kerr calling for it now, and in danger of being sucked into the maul. That's exactly what's happened. That's going to be Irish ball. And just look at the celebrations as a result. Dave Ceci, just about his first intervention, his first bit of work, and he's denied Quinn's valuable possession inside their 22.
Time off.
Tell you what, there's no rub of the green about that. That's just graft from London Irish. Really, really good, legal, clean maul defence. Dave Ceci, fresh legs on. He's panting by now, ripping his way through the middle of that and getting his mitts on the ball. Just an exhausting area of the game. See, Quinn's looked to have it under control. Ceci piling through over the top. You see there's a Harlequin outside him, so he's not going around the outside. I think it's Dave Ward is under his right arm effectively. That's Tom Court's arm there. But as his arm swings through, it swings over the top between two Harlequins, so he's not on the outside, he's through the middle. Excellent maul defence from Dave Ceci.
Lots more rugby to come across BT Sport, both this weekend and next, of course. Grenoble against Connacht at the moment, live on ESPN HD. Connacht 29-21 ahead. Leicester against Stade in the Champions Cup tomorrow from 1 o'clock at Welford Road. Sarries Quins are offering from Wembley next Saturday at 3. And then that huge fixture up at Kingston Park at the bottom of the Premiership, which will all but decide London Irish's fate. But what a boost it would give them if they could go into that game off the back of a victory here at the Stoop, away from home in a Challenge Cup quarter-final. We talk about momentum in sport all the time, Hugo, don't we? It would be priceless.
Absolutely. Today's been a free hit. We've had squad rotation. They've been suffering from injury. No one expected anything out of them. I thought Harlequins would be very comfortable tonight. It's been anything but. To come in on a Monday morning off the back of of a potential win going into a do-or-die match against Newcastle will do this team a world of good.
Just one win away from home all season, London Irish. That was against Agen back in January. They've lost 7 of the last 8, but here they've given up the penalty. Too much confusion.
Yeah, absolutely the right decision. The referee's assistants joined in then and told the ref what had happened. Fascinating battle depending on what floats your boat between Palferman, newly brought on tight head for London Irish, and Mark Lambert. Looks to be all steady. Mark Lambert, I mentioned his fitness earlier. He never stops working. He just works and works and works. Doesn't always go his way, but it went his way then. Forced Palferman in. Nowhere else for him to go but pop up at the top. Very, very strong work from Lambert.
Threatening times these for the Exiles. Luke Wallace has his hands on the ball. They are marching towards the try line to put themselves right back in the picture. There's Wallace. There's the score. We have a match on. Into the final quarter. Still anybody's.
No TMO required. Very strong mauling from Harlequins. Good throw from Dave Ward. Not an easy throw over the top of Lloyd, who's about 9 feet tall. London Irish get a good nudge on, but they ultimately spin around the outside. Harlequins stay tight. You see Lloyd again trying to pull it down from the side. Wallace in for his 4th European try of the season. Rips it off. Danny Kerr's jumping out the way. She doesn't get an accidentally offside. Never in danger of that. Game on.
Okay, boys. Elia.
Well, we know Europe provides drama by the bucketful. And that one's going to slide the other way. So Harlequins still behind. 18 minutes to play.
Binding, lost the binding,
and the tension ratcheting up.
On the far side.
Always well set here, weren't they? Wallace, firm grip on the ball. Matthews claims the restart.
Ball! Carried back.
Roberts. Visser. Opening up. Putting his foot down. Just needed a really simple one there. And the possibilities were going to open up. It's gone forwards. Let's have a word with Mark Mapletoft, part of the Harlequins coaching setup. Mark, I think ahead of this evening, an awful lot of people thought that this would be fairly straightforward for Harlequins, with London Irish with all their troubles in the league. Probably not quite on the ball. Far from it.
No, agreed. Did you? You probably did see the Northampton Saracens game.
Yeah.
They were probably in exactly the same situation. At this level now, you can't just pitch up and expect to turn teams over without the required intensity.
Do you think your team did that?
I just don't think we were intense enough consistently through the first half. We were spiking, we were good for periods, and then we weren't. And we played too much of the game in our own half, and that then invites the opposition onto you and gives them confidence. And they haven't needed a second invitation. They make life really hard for us.
So 15-6 after 26 minutes, tries from Wallace and Kerr, penalty from Bossica. Do you think your team kind of had an inkling that maybe the job was 70% done at that point?
Well, undoubtedly, as I said, at this level you cannot do that, and that has probably, through periods this year, hurt us really badly. And if you're going to concede 30 points, home or away, you're going to have to play pretty well ball in hand to win the game.
Right, so how are you going to win it from here?
We've just got to make sure those intensity levels are right and we play in the right areas of the field. When we've done that throughout the whole game so far, we've looked great. But then when we get caught in our own half, making errors there where we create a line break and then we throw the ball away, it doesn't allow you to build any pressure.
Thanks for your time, Mark.
Thanks, Ali.
Fascinating stuff. Honest stuff, as ever, from Mark Mapletoft. And the game very, very much still in the balance.
He's spot on, isn't he, Tofty? Always speaks with passion, emotion, and certainly honesty, and he's He couldn't have put it any better. Harlequins, for all their talent, for all their players and internationals, have lacked intensity for consecutive periods of times, and that's what London Irish have lived off. You give them scraps, they're absolutely fighting for their lives, they're desperate, and they've taken everything and every opportunity which Harlequins have laid on for them.
A reminder for those of you who perhaps don't watch an awful lot of European rugby, if scores are tied after 80 minutes, we go to extra time. Here's a penalty to London Irish. Marius Maitreya not happy with the Harlequin scrummaging, and particularly that of Kyle Sinclair.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of scrummaging to avoid penalties these days, and staying clean is about the picture you present to the referee. And it doesn't matter necessarily if it's your fault. You just got to make sure you stay in certain positions and don't end up in others. And when the referee's next to you, you make sure you stay up. Equally, when he's on the other side, as he was from watch Carl Sinclair here, he's on his knees. Tom Court's in a good, strong position. Sinclair folds in, but the referee's told by his touch judge, but also the referee's looking down the tunnel himself and sees Sinclair's head hit the deck and no one else has hit the deck. It's an easy decision for a ref.
That's scrappy, but it is with London Irish, and Geraghty has seen some space here for Maitland. What a brilliant judge of the ball from Mike Brown.
Don't kick to Mike Brown, it's a waste of time.
Well, he had to be bang on the money there because Maitland was home and hosed if he caught it clean. And Brown is continuing the motion up on halfway now.
Oh, Geraghty, brilliant turnover.
Ball stolen. Maitland dribbles it through. Plenty of Harlequins back there. Wallace amongst them. And here's Marlon Yard, who might like the look of things. Kicking perhaps not his first suit. And he's picked out Steele, who's onto the field now. Fenby. They're looking for control via the foot. And it's safety first, is it? Down the touchline he's gone. McKibben's there. Geraghty. Maitland, who scored that brilliant try earlier. Irish needing belief at this point in a team that is lacking in confidence and belief, a team that has not been in winning situations. Have to close out a tight one here, away from home. And that's off a stray boot and into touch, so the ball will remain with those in green.
23 green.
Back on for Scott Steele. Their situation on the bench hardly ideal, Hugo, given their options. Of course, they're resting a number of players ahead of next week. They would have had Don Waldock on the bench tonight, London Irish, but he's decided to head off to the US to play in their new pro league. So they've got 2 nines covering the whole of the back division.
Yeah, it makes it pretty tough. It just goes to show just how desperate they've been this year in terms of injury. Just as we watch a sting of beauty, Mike Brown once again imperious in the air. But yeah, it's been a tough season for London Irish. They haven't hit their straps, a lot of changes, a lot of injuries, hence why they're in the position which they are. But they're certainly not playing with that inhibition. They're playing, they're exposed, they're expressing themselves, hence why they're in front at the moment.
Quins managing the turnover nicely, and Mike Brown is trying to work this space here. That's unfortunate. Maitland thinking about the quick one, deciding otherwise.
Just once or twice tonight, and we've seen some wonderful work from Mike Brown, beating first defenders, leg drive, work in the air. But once or twice we've seen sort of a lack of sort of delicacy when it mattered, and George Lowe did change his line late then. But it's just, I naturally compare at the moment Mike Brown to Alex Good at Saracens, very, very different players. But I think there is a delicacy to Good's game that Brown doesn't have. But I think what Brown has in spades is dog. The guy's he's brilliant in the air, does basic things brilliantly, and he's just unbelievably competitive.
Irish launching another attack up towards the 22-metre line. Mulcrone, who's been very busy this evening. Taken on by McCusker. They look full of purpose, full of running, full of energy at the moment. Importantly, Irish. 68 minutes on the clock and still looking for the spaces, and Fenby is dragged down. Will Lloyd held up. There's a lot of Will Lloyd to be held up, but he's done well to head to the turf. Working the short side. This is Fowley. Strong, powerful runner. McKibben. Patience here from London Irish. Could draw dividends. Feverish defending from the home side. Geraghty looking to exploit things. Brophy clues, but just a little bit of obstruction at a key moment. And Botica getting involved in one or two afters.
No, it's
Shane Geraghty running all that way then for a little shove.
obstruction.
Good, fiery. Break down the communication from London Irish in the midfield. Easy decision. Led off for Harlequins.
Going through the phases, they're all just desperate to get their hands on the ball. Unfortunately, everyone's on the same wavelength as Shane Geraghty. Trying to drop fear, but he clues into that space there, which is pretty well marshalled by Jamie Roberts, mind you.
Dave Ward picking out Toomey. Kerr to Botica. This is crisp. Visser.
It's your man on top of it. It's your...
Clifford. Not too much on wide out, so hanging on to the ball, perhaps the best option. Ward sets it up now. Kerr digs it through. Mike Brown's after it, and the ball's going to outrun him.
Great option from Danny Kerr. His England teammate Mike Brown's obviously seen some space, communicated into it.
Oh, it's Harem Scarum now, and Irish letting fly from deep within the 22. It's opening up quite nicely.
A lovely bit of skill. I don't think McCusker wanted that early ball from Maitland, but that's a lovely bit of skill from Danny Kerr. Showing his footballing background. Brown's agonised, wanted it to stay in. He's in a foot race with Brophy Clues, who I think is doing a really, really good job. He's missed a couple of tackles, but
that was McCusker's clues.
That's why I don't think McCusker wanted that. He did really well actually to put a bit of footwork on and kick it far enough, basically.
Connaught leading Grenoble by 32 points to 30 in France. So as it stands, we have a Connaught London Irish semi-final. The advantage here is with Quins though, and they are heading steadily towards that try line. Kerr held up, penalty awarded.
Number 8 collapsing.
Yeah, the collapsing of the ball. So the decision from here has to be post, doesn't it?
Number 12.
I think so.
12 sub.
Spot on, Danny Kerr. Quick to point for the post. Harlequins have really had to fight in this last quarter to get anything out of it. And when things aren't going right, you go back to basics, and the basics have been their set piece, have been their maul. Just a quick word on the guy coming off the pitch here, Theo Brophy Clues. I spoke about him before the game, the mismatch up against Jamie Roberts, and this talented young man, his first full season, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I said it might have been negligent to put him up against the two-time British line, and he's been outstanding tonight.
Done really well once or twice. He's taken a few knocks. I think I saw him get a stinger on his right shoulder in the first half. That right arm was dangling a bit for a while. Botica, easy three. Takes him ahead.
Easy three to put Quins 1 point in front with less than 8 minutes remaining. Another nail biter in this weekend of European rugby.
But that's been the tale of this weekend, hasn't it? Connaught, I was expecting them to be comfortable up against Grenoble. Hasn't been that way. Sale unbeaten at home, turned over on Montpellier, and the Dragons at Kingsholm. It has been one epic weekend.
Kerr digging. Botica. Still they play. Still they want to throw it around.
Inside.
That's going to find the open expanses, and Geraghty is latching onto it. The ball is blocked by Robshaw's boot. Maitland has it. Could do with some support because he's all on his own. It arrives in the nick of time. Trayford. And Quins latched over the ball and won the penalty. Fabulous work that time by Chris Robshaw, who saw the moment, pounced for the ball.
Ali, when that ball was kicked and the Harlequins were chasing, I was just on the tip of my tongue. I was going to tell the viewers at home to watch Chris Robshaw chasing that kick. I looked at our little monitor up here and realised it wasn't what you could see at home. It was only what we could see from up here. He was steaming after that ball. He then charged down a kick, back to his feet, communicating in defence, turns the ball over. We're 73 minutes in, and the work he's got through this season, never mind this evening, and he's absolutely steaming after that ball.
200th appearance in Premiership and Europe for the Quins, for Chris Robshaw, captain for the Challenge Cup victory back in 2011, and putting in another fine shift here tonight.
Well, it all starts with London Irish not catching the ball on the full once again. Shane Garrity forced into making a decision because his thinking time's gone. Chris Robshaw, who else? Charge the ball down, and how about this? Straight onto that ball, only one decision ever there. Well, with Chris, with his minute 81, is effort upon effort, he never gives up.
And here's another promising situation for the home side. Yet again, it's Wallace who's organising things, and the green tide struggling to stem the flow here. It's a thin line, and Quins have their eyes on the prize. Danny Kerr! Hat-trick time! The skipper grabs 3, and he may just have grabbed a semi-final of the Challenge Cup as well.
He's cheeky there, because his forwards have done all the hard work. Luke Wallace was on the ball, the king at the back, and about 6 inches from the line.
He's a thief.
He is a thief, but you take him, right?
Do you know what? He's at the back there, and he's saying, give us it, keep driving me, give us it, in case I want to give it out. He's never giving that out. He knows he's not. Wallace has got that. You think Wallace is going to be scoring at this point. Irish are all over the place. They've got men wrapping around the back, around the outside. Wallace is all over this. Danny Kerr thinks, hang on a minute, I want a hat-trick, Chief. Give us that in case I want it. Keep pushing anyway. He's never going to pass that out. Wallace should have said, no way, Chief. Good work for Danny Kerr. I like that.
It's greedy, but it's effective. Just ask Thomas Waldron.
Absolutely.
Well, how significant might that try be? 36 points to 30, conversion to come.
That was, I owe you a pint, Luke. I stole your try.
That's good. That's very, very good. And outside of the reach of a converted score now, with less than 4 minutes on the clock.
It's tough on Irish. I mean, they've got 2 bonus points all season. And that's not to suggest these guys haven't been competitive. We've seen that in space today. With all the changes, the disruption, but they find themselves 8 points shy with 3.5 minutes to go. The story of their season.
Nobody wants it. Nobody claiming it. Wearing green. And that spells trouble because Quins have got their tails up. And Brown is releasing Visser. And Visser's carving through and the holes are beginning to open up. Sinclair at full tilt.
What a line. Goodness me.
Onwards. Still he goes. What a lump of meat to be launching at London Irish at this point in the match at that kind of pace. Botica. Low. Dribbles it through. Mullen yards after it.
Looks like Carl Sinclair's hurt himself a bit there. It was an incredible line. And bust through the defensive line from Carl Sinclair.
Outstanding from Carl Sinclair. Has been brought off the bench for a reason. Scrummaging and carrying, and this is so uncompromising. He comes from a mile away. You can't tackle me. I'm bigger and stronger than you. Bust through 2 men there. Outstanding in terms of his ability to stay on his feet. Shane Garrity doesn't fancy it much.
No, he doesn't.
That's one heck of a mismatch.
He's still on the floor at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, from the way he's sitting, if you can sit yourself up, it's often really hard to sit yourself up properly when you've got a damaged shoulder. You need the muscles in that to sit up a little bit, as odd as it sounds. Those tests he's doing there, just testing that rotator cuff, that shoulder socket, looks all right. You want it, if he's in a bit of trouble there, if he's done any real damage, you'd imagine he'd be wincing and jerking at those tests.
Line out.
The miniature Buddha looks all right to me. Outstanding.
It's over the moon to be having a sit down, I'd imagine.
Okay.
That's what you get from Harlow. Abrasive brutality.
A lot of power in there, isn't there, Roots?
Plenty still to come, you feel, from Carl Sinclair. Already an England tourist, went on the tour of New Zealand a couple of summers ago. He's only 23.
Green line out.
Will Lloyd is off. Ollie Curry is on. 20-year-old academy boy.
Hey, stay tuned.
Into the second row for London Irish with 2.5 minutes remaining. Geraghty finding the gap, and it's ended up with Scott Steele by the look of things. Geraghty foully straightening.
Advantage over for knock on.
Ellis moves it onwards to Cece.
Thank you.
Steele stopped in his tracks by Marland Yard. Stray boot, and that's an Irish penalty. Allenson looking for some urgency here.
Number 18 inside.
Clock very much against them. But as they head back inside the Quins' half, we've got time for your man of the match.
Yeah, it's actually been fairly tough. Quality at times hasn't been great. Harlequins overwhelming favourites coming into it. And the one man who's actually managed to, looks like, secure this is Danny Kerr. Hat-trick tonight, his first year as captain, his 13th time captain them tonight. For that reason, my Challenge Cup man of the match, Danny Kerr. Outstanding performance from that guy.
Grenoble have beaten Connaught by a single point, 33-32. So they have booked their place in the semi-finals. And at the moment, they will play Harlequins, and they will play them here at the Stoop. Geraghty, Mulcrone, and the defence is strong now. Jamie Roberts wrapping up his opposite number. Ellis, Irish, trying their hearts out. Nothing is being left out on the pitch. Really heartening performance. Geraghty flinging it wide and finding Maitland. Visser's tracking him. Scottish winger on Scottish winger. Geraghty again.
I'll tell you what, Tom Coventry will have a headache with selection. I think Shane Geraghty's been outstanding. He'll certainly suit that 4G pitch. Brothy Clues once again as well. Massive game for those guys next week, but great to see so many options.
Tell you what, if London Irish had won this game, man of the match would have been easy. Shane Geraghty's been fabulous.
Steele whips it away. Geraghty again, probing.
Except that.
Nobody quite reading him. And we're into the red. Little burst from Polferman. Relatively freshly onto the field. It's lost. Quins have it. Wallace has it. And now Mike Brown has it. And Visser would like another try. He might just get it. Visser, has he got the touch? Potentially just one final bit of work for our TMO Carlo Damasco. Visser thinks he's finished this with a flourish.
Any reason why I can't throw the try, please?
Well, a cruel blow on London Irish right at the death. Yeah, he's got it, hasn't he? Has he got it? Oh! Has he actually missed the ball?
A little boot in there. No, he hasn't got that.
No try.
What a bit of work from Scott Steele.
That's the desperation London Irish need from now to the end of the season.
There is no grounding.
Okay.
So
The ball is dead.
yeah, correct.
No try.
Full time and a semi-final of the Challenge Cup for Harlequins, for Conor O'Shea's men, as they bid to send him off with some silverware at the end of the season. They have shaken off a stubborn, a brave London Irish, who now have to draw the battle lines for Kingston Park. But for Quins, 2 more wins and the trophy is theirs. They'll play Grenoble here at the Stoop in a couple of weeks' time. 38 points to 30. Last word, Flats.
Really, really enjoyable match, really competitive. I think London Irish deserve a huge amount of credit, not just for playing well. You deserve a huge amount of credit for that, but for attacking it so well, attitudinally, considering what they've been through and what they've got coming up. They really, really turned up. They really, really played. They put a lot of pressure on Harlequins and looked for large portions of the game like they might win against the odds. They're going to need, as Ugo said, they're going to need all of that pressure, all of that effort and all of that desperation next week and for the couple of weeks after that if they're going to survive in the Aviva Premiership. Harlequins, worthy winners, and they'll be confident facing Grenoble at home.
Yeah, London Irish outstanding in terms of their application today and their intent to play. Harlequins, yeah, job done. Semi-final at home against Grenoble, but if they're to become the 4 times Challenge Cup champions, they're going to have to be a heck of a lot better than that.
5 tries on the night for